all, I have to say it. Alabama could have scored 70 points. They took their foot off the pedal to shorten this game. And it's funny because it almost didn't work, because at times they were still scoring too fast and giving Oklahoma a chance to get another touchdown. I think Nick Saban knew that this Oklahoma offense was explosive. You know, being completely serious, Oklahoma's offense is really good. Even without Hollywood Brown, they were still moving the ball. Lincoln Riley knows how to call plays. Nick Saban did not want to give them more opportunities to possess the ball, because they're really efficient when they score, because they have to be, because their defense is so bad. So Nick Saban said, let's run the ball instead. And you can see that in the play calls. Alabama called 42 runs, and they only called 27 passes. And the time of possession shows this. Alabama possessed the ball for 36 minutes and 8 seconds. OU only possessed the ball for 23 minutes and 52 seconds. Total yards, OU was held to under 500, 471 yards, and most of that was Kyler Murray. So he did a great job out there. Alabama, 528 yards, and this is them slowing it down, running the ball like crazy. Tua Tagovailoa, this is crazy. No one is talking about this. Tua completed 88.8% of his passes, or otherwise 89% of his passes, almost 90% of his passes. Tua completed 24 completions on 27 attempts. Amazingly efficient. And he had 12 yards per attempt. So he wasn't dinking and dunking the ball all over the place. This shows me that he was taking intermediate shots up and down the field and completing them. Tua had a crazy good game, and no one's talking about it. They want to talk about Kyler Murray, who did a lot of good things, who hit on some plays when they were trying to come back. But when you break down his stats, Kyler only had 51% of his passes completed, went 19 of 37. And honestly, that's just very inefficient. He only had 8.3 yards per attempt, meaning that he threw a lot of passes and did not get a lot of production out of them. So you're going to say, well, he had 308 yards, right? But his yards per completion were 16 yards per completion. Almost 17, I think it was like 16.8, something like that. So when he did hit on his passes, which he only hit half of the time, he hit him on some big plays, some defensive miscommunication and mental errors. But so he completed them when he did complete them, but otherwise he had a very inefficient day, and that's mainly because the Alabama defense was so good. So to those who may have think, well, Kyler outplayed Tua, that's just completely false. Do not believe that. With that said, I'll move on. Josh Jacobs should have been the MVP of this game. He was the catalyst for this offense. He had a lot of receiving yards. He had almost 100 yards rushing. Josh Jacobs wanted to score one more touchdown. Alabama ended the game possessing the ball. They could have scored another touchdown and put 52 up on Oklahoma, but Nick Saban doesn't like to run up the score. And Josh Jacobs was smiling because he was trying to get that last touchdown. If you saw his face, go back and watch it. Josh Jacobs wanted to score one more touchdown. But I believe he should have been the MVP, because whenever Alabama needed to play, or whenever there was a big wow moment or somebody to swing the momentum, every time I saw it, it was Josh Jacobs. And honestly, that goes right into my next point. Oklahoma, as we thought, and it looked worse than I thought it was going to be. Oklahoma couldn't stop the run or the pass for Alabama. And that's mainly the reason why they lost. They could not stop Alabama. Like I said, Alabama could have scored 70 points. They took their foot off the pedal. Alabama, get this, punted the ball twice the whole game. And they ended the last drive. Just running the clock out. So they really only had 2 bad offensive possessions this whole game. They stopped themselves. While on the other hand, while OU did really great and they scored on every possession in the second half, 3 touchdowns, 1 field goal, they had 4 total possessions in the second half. Oklahoma had 6 drives in the first half. 4 of them ended with no points. They got no points on 4 drives, and one of those was the ending the half. They were trying to score before the half. They couldn't get that either. So 4 out of 6 drives in the first half ended with no points. And it started out is because Alabama's defense was harassing Kyler Murray. So that shows you the difference. It's just crazy. Now, like I said, they scored on all 4 of their drives in the second half, and part of that was because of good offensive execution, Lincoln Riley calling great plays. But the other part of that was bad mental errors for the Alabama defense, and also a lot of missed holding calls. Oklahoma's offensive line held Quentin Williams and those guys quite a bit. And usually I don't really complain about that a lot. I just like to point that out to people who like to say that, who like to say other things. But yeah, they missed a lot of holding calls on the Alabama defense. So this is how I know. I'll end it on this. This is how I know Alabama dominated this game, no matter what the final score says. Every time Oklahoma got within 11 points in the second half, Alabama scored a touchdown. So that shows you that Alabama was in control of this game. They said, Oklahoma's gotten too close. Let's put ourselves ahead again. And they would have scored on that last drive to push it back up to an 18-point lead again if they weren't just trying to run the clock out. That's how I know Alabama controlled this game. But those are my post-game thoughts. Let me know if you want me to do a video on all those holding calls that the refs missed on Alabama. But I'm going to do some play breakdowns because this game was a lot of fun for me to watch. I'll see y'all in the next video. Let me know what you thought about the game. Who was most impressive to you? Who do you think should have been the MVP? See you for the next video.